Greetings, friends. So the truth about the power of thought and thinking, the truth, friends, the truth is that thought is indeed very primary. Consciousness is indeed very primary. Very, very important. What type of thinking do you exactly have? How do you really create anything in your mind at all, actually? And can you perhaps manage and control those very thoughts and emotions, what you actually generate in your mental and emotional bodies? It is very important to understand that the physical body is indeed slow. You cannot immediately be in all possible scenarios. To change your position, you need to move your arms and shift your torso properly and effectively. As for mental bodies, they are very agile and quick in their movements. You can go through a large number of options very quickly in a short amount of time. However, at first glance, it may feel similar. Sometimes forcing your mind to think is unpleasant. It is a certain mental load, a mental burden. I say, cultivate and nurture your mind, train your mind, use any strategies and mechanisms that can help you with this. Chess is great, such as some IQ tests, for instance, anything at all, friends, that works for you, anything that helps you to train your brain. I believe that the most ideal way to train your brain is when you learn to direct your attention inward to your thoughts as they are, to your emotions as they are, and to find the distance, to find the difference between the one who observes and what is experienced inside you, what is thought inside you. As soon as you start doing this, you will undoubtedly see that the capabilities of your brain begin to expand. That is indeed very quickly, and from seemingly almost nowhere, some wisdom and knowledge appear. In other words, life becomes easier for a person in a certain way. They start to suddenly remember things they have accidentally seen somewhere before and use them as new tools for their own growth and development, for their own progress in life. If you really feel a lack of knowledge, then of course you definitely need to go to school, to institutes, and you very much need to get an education, whether it's classical education or specialized. In other words, you need to study. The most importantly thing a person has is education. And it's not because you absolutely need a diploma to get a job or anything like that. The point is that essentially the characteristics and patterns of your thinking as you grow and develop will be based on all of the information you knew before. If there isn't much information, if there are no conceptual bases, foundations, higher mathematics or any mathematical functions at all, if you don't understand where the sine wave comes from, how the parabola is constructed, if you lack this knowledge, or perhaps much of what you see may be unclear as to what it is, what do I want to say next? The whole truth about thinking, about the work of the brain. Well, of course, if you have definitely learned to adjust yourself to a positive mindset, that's already a step towards achieving longevity, youth, and so on in your life, and undoubtedly, it will benefit you. Because people, I will tell you honestly, have one problem. A person becomes rigid in their mind. False crystallization of the soul indeed makes the spine completely immobile. In other words, your flexible spine is primarily your flexible mind. They are very closely interconnected. In my practice, it is as evident as your connection with your real father and your relationship with your real mother. The same will be your connection with Mother Earth and the Heavenly Father. That is, these analogies manifest themselves in various practical scenarios. In practice, and all of this can be achieved with affirmations. You can do all of this on your own. It doesn't matter what has happened in your real life or how it happened. They were good there. The parents were bad. Something worked out, something didn't. Whether you are satisfied or upset with them, if you start the right movement within yourself, the right work with these affirmations, I believe there were videos where I explained this in great detail, you enter a space where in this way these connections are gradually and ultimately restored. As soon as these connections are restored in an energetic manner, that is, with your mind and your positive attitude and your practice of the inner smile, your practices for building up your own endocrine system and hormonal background, and also through consistent efforts, you take control of it all and do not succumb to what automatically comes to you, such as negative emotions or destructive pathological states. You take them, pull yourself into a positive mood, into a positive mindset. This doesn't mean that you have to constantly and actively walk around being happy and joyfully spreading love to everyone you meet, to the entire world. When you start overplaying, a new dominant thought is naturally born, which will eventually naturally be overthrown at some point. And the result is that you have, in a way that is ultimately unnatural, nurtured a sub-personality. Don't make a fool of yourself in any situation. Understand correctly and always work correctly. In other words, in essence, to create an optimistic and positive mindset within yourself, you need to lean more towards sensory interpretations and pay more attention to the informational synthesis and overall structure around your field. For me, it's normal and understandable. I'm sure many people, upon hearing this phrase, were like, "What did he just say?" You see, it really is like that. In other words, there are things that do not have terms and words in the language of ordinary people, so to speak. And those people who start actively engaging in esotericism often find that terms often become unclear, because they don't really know what exactly they are referring to and talking about. But these are trendy words that everyone tends to use, and naturally, it's much easier to get lost there because those who can see things adequately and point out something precisely can accurately say that this is this, that this is the synthesis of such energy, with such amplitude, and this is its spectrum, it shines like this, works like this, and the result from it will be this. There are very few such people. Everyone wants to say beautiful words, everyone wants to seem like masters, and everyone strives to use the heart responds, they indeed connect to the source. In other words, people often mistake their thoughts for some kind of clairvoyance, meaning that some source has shown them some information. There is no clear understanding of when a person is truly connected. If they are connected, then to what exactly are they connected? To which source? From what level? What information does it take? There is a lot of corrupted information, many internal mechanisms that can somehow distort this information, personal prisms and mirrors, who can even take correct information from a good source and still distort or twist it so that a person might not understand it right away, and most importantly, understand simple things. As I say, learn to understand simple things first, before trying to predict the future. With any kind of clairvoyance, is energy coming or going? Because in any case, the sensations can be roughly the same ultimately, after all. That is, suddenly there is a sensation of heat, a feeling of expansion. The energy starts flowing, but it is important to clearly understand that it can leave with the same sensations. And what kind of energy was released? I mean, what is its spectrum? What is the program there? And these are all very important things, you understand, because if you load a person with a ton of negative energy, well, most likely they will get sick. Most likely strange situations will happen to him, nonsense in life, and vice versa. Giving a little energy but positive means there will be more joy and more strength. So the whole truth about thinking is that people are in fact actually very amorphous. People do not want to work on themselves, do not want to move into this, do not want to understand that certain gunas, if we talk about rajas, sattva and tamas, this sluggish tamas, as it were, yes, takes over, closes off. In other words, people don't move, don't want to think, do anything or work on themselves. They just don't want to. And why? Because that's how they were taught. It's easier for them that way. And like any living creature, moving from discomfort to comfort, including mental comfort or even emotional comfort, it is much easier to stick your head into some endless scrolling feed in order to, and that's it. I mean, social networks and all that. I mean, some people, whether you know them or not, now everyone is friends with everyone. Nobody knows anyone, I would say. Everyone is subscribed to everyone. Who knows who? Nobody knows anyone. It's all about attention. It's your mental strength. It's your energy. Here's the whole truth. You connected to a robot that feeds you beautiful pictures just to capture your attention. And those people who are specifically subscribed only to those people they specifically know, I think they simply don't exist anymore. Everyone says, I'm also interested in this, and there he suggests to you, yes, robot, look, you might also find this interesting, and this too. And that's it, your attention is truly captured. But what does it mean to have your attention captured? This means that your own cells, your occiput, your sacrum, your lower back, your spinal column and cord, your entire nervous system, entire endocrine system, internal organs, yes, your internal organs, your body tissues, your entire cardiovascular system, entire immune system, entire hematopoietic system, they are all just like you. They have been neglected. They are not being looked at. Just imagine we are all buddies here, right? You are chatting there, I'm chatting, we are all chatting together, everything is great, you write to me, and I respond. So imagine you're writing, but no one responds to you. It's like being ignored. They have their own things going on, but we're more interested here. You guys are here, and I'm here with you, and you just neither yes nor no, nothing, just. So what will happen to you in the end? Well, you're like, I'll go to others, right? So they will communicate with me. So other information systems. But which ones? First of all, the collective intelligence of viruses and bacteria. What is the result? That is, they connect to a person, somehow deform these cells and start feeding them with their information. The cells change in some way, but most often this is all about diseases. That is, various types of necrosis start to take place. Different kinds of viruses and fungi, bacteria, and all sorts of other harmful microorganisms and other nonsense begin to happen to a person. So he starts running to doctors. They say, here are some antibiotics. Let's cut it off at the edges. As an option, well, maybe it's easier to put aside these social networks, direct your attention inward, or if you really want to connect to these social networks, then play my YouTube video that will tell you. And now we enter the state of an empty bamboo, close our eyes, relax, roll our attention back, and observe our breathing and sensations in the body. You are at the same time on social media. There you go. But at the same time, I brought you back and said, work on yourself a little. Here's the whole truth about thinking. You need to engage your brain in some way, somehow. If you continue aimlessly surfing through everything that interests you, and there is so much information now. Everything is interesting. Everything is important. Something happened here, something happened there. Everything is this and that. Well, you at least have a body, so give it the necessary and sufficient energy to keep it calm and balanced, to keep it in harmony, so that your psyche remains healthy and stable, so that there are absolutely no phobias, no panic at all, no nonsense about them being something. But who are they really? What are they like? So that there is no misunderstanding about how easily you can be manipulated, and so that you can recognize the neuro-linguistic programs that these social networks load into you with some ease. If you truly see how it happens, you can indeed filter them, you can discard them, and they won't affect you. And if it doesn't affect you at all, you won't succumb to these general panic moods. If you do not indeed succumb to these moods, you will truly not actually experience the common mathematical processes that happen to those who do. You are experiencing something different, but what is different? And what kind of energy will you load into yourself? Where do you really indeed direct your attention? What truly, in fact, interests you about the incredible power of your mind? So who will come to you? The question of getting out of the position that most people are in right now is not that simple. I'll tell you more. The movement will continue. That is, increasingly more and even increasingly more of these brainwashing apparatuses will be put on their head, which from birth of a child will package them into an obedient, proper, good citizen, the kind that is needed. It is, of course, sad to observe, but this is the reality, and the dynamics of this growth and development are exactly like this. We don't see any other options here. Considering what's happening on the global stage with these G5 chats and other things, friends, there are definitely too many people, and they are simply not needed by anyone. They are not needed by anyone right now. We see what's happening in the world. Now imagine everything you can do will be done by a robot, eventually. Therefore, only the power of your consciousness, friends, only your inquisitive minds, the capabilities you can accumulate, and the ones you can unlock within yourselves, only the understanding of informational matrices. These spheres, the integrity of these matrices is very important, and the potentiality of your own construction, your own designing and modeling of your structures, so that no one from outside invades and no one rearranges your chakras to their liking. Spin them yourself, adjust them yourself. And also, in addition as well, I believe it's all in the head. Everyone, each and every one of us. The head is the most important thing we have. It's even above the heart, if you ask me, honestly. Therefore, of course, by working in unison with the heart, we see that dreams open up, and we see that true higher functions and knowledge about the nature of everything are revealed and unveiled. Well, at least, friends, at least just understand that there is indeed such a vector, a very simple vector, I will tell you, where you are more sober and where you are more in some kind of mental intoxication. Actually, that is, most people, if you look at them, already have these mental conceptual bases so ingrained, like I am this, I am that, which start to intoxicate them without wine, you understand. They get dazed without drugs. In other words, people are carried away. This is considered normal. And I can definitely tell you that those people who strive for sobriety, clarity of thought, understanding their own inner world, and the desire to make themselves better every second, to observe themselves, to make themselves better. This does not mean that you will no longer be human. You will indeed be more human, a more humane person, and a more rational person. Friends, I want to tell you that the power of thought is very important and incredibly significant. Train your brain, use it, work on it, and become truly engaged, truly aware, and fully awakened, completely and totally. Make yourself in every way possible, and as a result, the world around you better in your life. Light and love,